Hello there, my name's Tony Nutley and I am the lead trainer and founder of the UK College of Personal Development. Now we've had a lot of questions come in about, we've seen your adverts for NLP, we've read about NLP and coaching and personal development generally. Why on earth would we want to invest time, energy and money into learning around NLP or in fact enrolling in an NLP practitioner program? Well, I've got a couple of answers for you. The first one is, really, do you want to increase the success, happiness, and joy that you have in your life? Now, I'm guessing most people will say, yes, of course. But why would we believe that learning NLP or learning about NLP and coaching and personal development, how and why would that help me to have more joy, happiness, and success in my life? Well, there's a lot of reasons. And I've got a couple of slides here I'm going to share with you. So I'll just go to sharing my screen. And I've got some slides here, which we will now have a quick look at. And if I go to share, you'll be able to see these. There we go. There we go. So, okay, so hopefully everybody will be able to see those as we go through. So why enroll on an NLP practitioner and coaching certification program? I've chosen that title because that's what we call our NLP program, because we combine both coaching and the NLP toolkit together, which I'll explain why. So this notion of developing personal and professional success, because we all want more success. We've lived through a very, very difficult time, or we're still living through a very, very difficult time. And it seems to me you might ask the question, well, how can we increase happiness in our lives, satisfaction, a sense of I'm okay, success, or even that nurturing that sense of ambition to go out there and to do something pretty spectacular, different, or exciting in our personal or indeed professional lives? Well, research shows that the key to success in the modern and emerging economy are soft skills. Soft skills are by far the most valuable thing to have. Technical skills, of course, are important. If you can't do the job, there's no point being the nicest person in the world and having an abundance of soft skills. You need those technical skills. But what we find more and more is that having well-honed and developed soft skills to the point of having a sense of excellence around them really is the difference that makes the difference to success. Now, when we talk about soft skills, what are we actually talking about? So I've just got a short list here. In many ways, you could make this list quite a bit longer, but I think actually let's just keep it short for this particular video. So the first one is communication skills, the ability to communicate with lots of different types of people at lots of different levels within maybe an organization or complexity. The ability to speak to people and to be understood. That's really, really important. And within that, we would probably include the notion of rapport, which then leads to this empathy, the ability to have empathy, to show an understanding of how other people are relating to a particular situation or indeed yourself. Those two things are then linked to being the ability to be part of a team. Now, most organizations now have teams that run projects or particular areas of business or business units, even in fact. So the ability to be part of a team is super important in the modern world and the emerging economies. The ability to positively give feedback and receive back in a positive way, again, is mega important. Now, why is that? It's because there's a lot of change going on in organizations. Hell, there's a lot of change going on out there in the real world, in our day-to-day lives. So the ability to receive feedback constructively, take it on board, go, all right, there's some learning in that. And to be able to give feedback to team members or colleagues or our family or friends or whatever in a way that supports and builds people up rather than crushes them down is very, very important. Adaptability, the ability to flex and change to new or changing circumstances. And given the modern world is constantly changing at an ever-increasing pace, this skill is absolutely vital. The ability to set goals and coach others to achieve goals and outcomes, super important. Again, because of teams, but also in our own lives. If we want something new, we've got to set a goal. Now, many people set goals, especially in January. People set New Year's resolutions and so on. And we've just passed so-called Blue Monday, where people give up on their goals and all of that nonsense. The reason is, of course, because those goals aren't well-formed outcomes. There's no strategy behind that goal. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. But there's no how, no resources, no strategy. So the ability to set goals and achieve them and coach other people to be able to do that is super important. Having this can-do attitude, or a success mindset towards problem solving. Having that skill to problem solve in teams or for ourselves, again, another vital skill in the modern world. And then to manage ourselves and others, manage generally in times of change, but not only manage it, but to actually thrive and grow in this process. Now, obviously, this is not a lecture or a video just talking about soft skills specifically. The thing I'm focusing on here is specifically around NLP and coaching. So you might think, well, what is this NLP thing? I've heard about it. I've seen stuff online about it. So neuro-linguistic programming, your thinking, the way you use your senses to understand what is happening to yourself. Programming, we really mean by programming behaviors, the way you organize your ideas, how you interact with other people, respond to stimuli and other things that are outside our control, or indeed are in our control. And then the linguistic part is the words, both verbal and non-verbal language, and how that influences us and the people around us. So neuro-linguistic programming. So a little bit more here. So at its most basic level, I would say that NLP is about these key headings here. How the brain works and how we can take that and use it to create change, set goals, improve our communication, our management, our leadership skills, all of those things. It's about how we think, learn, motivate ourselves, and indeed help other people to do the same. It's a model of complete and you might even say charismatic communication. So really improving our communication skills across the board. And it's a how-to process or guide, if you will, to personal change. It's often been said that the NLP training manual is almost like the manual you get when you buy a computer. It's the how to use it, that somehow we all got lost when we were born. We didn't get given the manual and how to use our brain, the most complex organism in the universe, you might say. Now in NLP, we often talk about the pillars of success or the pillars of NLP, and I'm just mentioning these here, built upon the presuppositions of NLP, which is the underlying philosophy of success. So the first one here is rapport, the ability to get on with people. Now you might say, well, I can do that anyway. I don't need to go on an NLP course for that. So my question for you is, well, that's great. However, there may be situations where you need to be in rapport with people whom you don't necessarily like. You don't agree with their politics or their outlook or whatever. So the ability to create rapport deliberately, to get on with people, to get a project done, super important. To be outcome orientated or goal orientated. Again, the ability to have that mindset, right, we're going forward, not backwards, and how to do it, how to set goals, how to move forward, how to take a team of people forward and with us. And acuity, this ability to see what's really there, not to project our fears or our prejudice or our sort of woes or cultural norms onto situations, to see what's genuinely there, that usually more often than not, there's opportunity and not just bad things happening. And then finally, flexibility. Flexibility is super, super important. The ability to flex and change our way of approaching situations. We're clear about where we're going in life. We're clear where we're taking our team, but we need to flex. Just like the sailboat tacking across the ocean against the wind. We need to be flexible in our approach. And that leads to success on an ongoing basis. Now, a lot of people have come across the NLP communication model. I've just popped this in here very, very quickly. Lots of information goes into our brain. We process it in nanoseconds and we behave or respond accordingly. Now, what the NLP communication model does, especially in practitioner training, is we unpick this model, we explore it in great detail, and then we learn how to use all of those things that happen to be better communicators, to get along with people, to really get our point across succinctly and clearly, to really understand what other people are saying by asking the appropriate questions. We take the meta model from NLP as an example. By asking really powerful coaching questions, we really begin to understand what the other person is saying so that we can respond appropriately and build even greater rapport. So in a good practitioner training, the NLP communication model will be central to that. Now, I mentioned achieving goals. That was another thing about the soft skill set that's super important. Setting and achieving goals. Because we can set goals all day long. If nothing happens, so what? What's the point in doing that? The point is achieving the goals. Now, there are lots of goal-setting models, but in NLP, we have this notion of well-formed outcomes. So aim, positive, resources, own part, consequences, evidence, a time frame, so start, and then steps. So what does all this mean? So when we're setting a goal, we need to have a clear aim. Now, Brian Tracy often talks about clarity. Clarity is the key. Once we're clear about what we want, chances are we'll have the motivation to go for it and understand why we're doing it in the first place, which goes to positive. Positive. For what reason this outcome? We often talk about the goal beyond the goal. What's this going to do for us? Resources. Before we embark on any new project, we need resources. As an example, when I thought, well, we've had lots of questions in about NLP and our coaching program, I'll put together a short video. So I needed some resources. Well, I needed the camera, the lights, and all of that kind of stuff. But I also threw together a couple of PowerPoint slides just so that resource could be shared with you. My outcome was to explain why it is important to consider enrolling on an NLP and coaching program. Now, own part is about control. Whose outcome is this anyway? If it's not for you, and if it's twice, 3 times, 4 times removed, chances are it's never going to happen. This is ownership of the outcome, of the reason you're doing this is super important. Once that's clear in your heart and in your head, chances are you'll follow through and develop strategies to move forward. Then, of course, we talk about consequences. Consequences of not achieving the outcome, consequences of achieving it. And this is the basic, very, very basic motivations that all humans have, away from pain towards pleasure. So what are the consequences of not achieving this outcome? It's terrible. What are the consequences of success? Amazing. We want that picture to be bright, shiny, even more powerful than anything else. So we'll leap out of bed and move towards it. And then very, very important, the thing that comes from well-formed outcomes is this evidence. Evidence. How will we know that we're making progress? How will we know that we've achieved our outcome? What will we see, hear, and feel? In NLP, we often say sensory-specific evidence that tells the conscious and unconscious mind that we're moving forward in life. We're moving towards our goals. And a start. When are you going to start? And this is super important as well, because people often say, I'm going to do this thing, but never start. You've got to write a date down. Put a stake in your timeline. And then finally, steps. What's the first step? Get the system moving. Get going. On our way. All the time. Moving forward. What's the first step? Who do you need to phone? What lever needs to be pulled? Once we're clear about what the first step is, chances are we'll take it and we'll get that momentum and continue to move forward. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. And if I just close this down, there we go. So that's a very, very short explanation of why you might want to consider enrolling an NLP and coaching program. So there's not a big hard sell here, but if you are interested in a program that we do, it's accredited. It's delivered online at the moment for obvious reasons. And you get 2 qualifications. You get NLP practitioner, which is accredited by the NLP. And you also get the certificate in business and life coaching, which is accredited by the Association for Coaching. If you would like to know more, simply visit our website, www.ukcpd.net, or drop us an email, info@ukcpd.net, or give us a call. Happy to have a call, 01793 511 180. Look, this is the time to get yourself ready for the coming opportunities as this pandemic comes to an end and things begin to change and come back to life, as it were. Now is the time to skill up, get ready to build success and bring more opportunity into your life, your family's life, your community's life, your organization and your team life. So if you're interested, get in touch. Happy to speak to you or answer any questions, and look forward to maybe seeing you on one of our training programs. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye for now.